topic is convergence of blockchain evolution in employment and education. May I now request Mr. Senthil Velu, Professor IIM Trichy, to kindly come on stage, please. Can we have a huge round of applause? The last session of the day, ladies and gentlemen. May we have some energy? Now may I request Mr. Chirag Kapadia, Director, Tact Pro Consulting Private Limited. Welcome. Please be seated. And finally, we have with us Mr. Chintan Dave, India Head, AI Certs, to please come on stage and be a part of this last engaging session of the day. And gentlemen, now the dais is all yours.
Most important part about the blockchain in education and employment, right? The entire day that we have discussed a lot of things, which is how this tech is so important, right? And why it is changing the lives. A lot of use cases we've talked about, right? But the most pressing problem that we have been discussing, or we should be discussing, is what we are not all proud of, right? The scams in India, right? If you count the scams in India, the amounts that we have, you can just GPT it, right? If you don't want to even Google it nowadays, right? You can GPT it, and you can see the amount of scams that we had. We can educate our entire population 100 times. You can calculate it for 25 years. That's the amount of scam we had over the 75 years. Is it dazzling? Yes or no? So the blockchain technology is a kind of a sloka in a Gita, that yada yada hi dharmasya glanir vardhi bhavata, right? So when there is an adharma, there is a solution as well, right? So blockchain technology is a solution to it, and that's what our discussion will be around. I would ask Chirag first question. Where do you think, as per your perspective, that blockchain is transforming the education from, let's say, school level to up to the higher education?
Thanks, Chintan, for setting up the ground. And you rightly said that there is an anti-counterfeiting or the scams in all the markets, and we are the topics education, right? So education and employment, we can say, right? Now, before we understand how blockchain can solve the problem, first we have to understand what is the process in this domain, right? Because like as a student or as a academics, when you are in that career and you are coming out of the mainstream market, right? The process is what you have to give the interviews to the companies, right? Either you have to submit your degrees, certificates, your credentials and your CVs to the companies, right? Post-COVID and pre-COVID, the scenario is different, right? Pre-COVID, everything is in physical manner, and now post-COVID is like everything is in virtual world, right? So when you are sending these documents or credentials to the companies, what is the authenticity of these documents are not counterfeit or not duplicated, right? So that's where the main educational, like we can say that the use case in blockchain comes into picture, right? Now, how to solve this problem? How to solve this, education problem in how to stop duplicating the mark sheets and the ratings or degrees or whatever it is, right? So that is the use case number one. Use case number two is like learning management system or self-empowerment systems of academics process, right? So LMS system is also another use case which we can say that blockchain can solve, right? Or can enhance. We cannot say it's solve, but it can enhance. Third is operational process of education systems or institutes internal operations where that can be sorted through smart contracts or that can be sorted through many different algorithms or blockchains. Now coming back to your questions, how secure, right? How it can be secured. Like now, see, blockchain is the records of immutable database. Like we can say the record which goes into blockchain system that cannot be tempered, that cannot be changed. So once the things which cannot be changed, it will be a tamper proof. And if the use case of degree or credentials of the students, if we keep that inside the blockchain, that will be easy to the employers or the industries to validate that and to authenticate that. Okay, now this is the secure version of the degree, right? So that is the main use case. So I can say that the basics of blockchain, like immutability, the trust mechanisms, the secure, right, and the distributed. These 4 or 5 principles of blockchain can easily adopted in this segment of education.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chirag. I would like to ask Professor Velu sir, and this is a very important understanding of the blockchain. People have a misconception that blockchain is only for the security, right? It does more than that in the education domain. It has a potential of doing more than a security. So what do you think about the smart contracts, like how they can add value apart from the security, and why we are leveraging it in the educational domain, sir?
Thanks, Chintan. Again, this will be the last session. So you're absolutely right. Apart from immutability and security, blockchain brings a lot more value to education. And the education stream has 4 pillars. It basically stands on 4 pillars. The value chain is divided into content creation, which is all the material that we read, distribution of content, consumption of content, and finally the validation, which is either you put to exams or otherwise. And for practical reasons, just keep it short. There are 2 use cases of how blockchain has made a very big impact in education. Unfortunately, I've been part of both of them. One of them being taking technology, using technology to get education out to children in relief camps and people who are torn apart by war. There's tons of that happening right now. We've been traveling a lot through Europe, especially with the immigration camps, where you have children who, for no reason at all, were impacted for several years without quality education. And when these children eventually do come out of these immigration camps, you need a system to validate what they've learned. We found that blockchain and getting NFT tokens based on what they've been tutored and also kind of been tested allows them to move on to more formal education. The other area that, fortunately, with my alumni at Mellon at CMU, we had students from Ukraine who would apply for their doctorate degrees and PhDs. And back in the US, when you're applying for a student loan, you need to have their risk underwritten by the diplomas they've got from their parent countries. Now, in the case of Ukraine, there was absolutely no way to validate which technical universities they'd gone to, what was the syllabuses or the courses they attended to. It was a quick turnaround that we did with Berkeley and Mellon, that we've come up with a blockchain platform which allows them to kind of tag their diplomas. And there's absolutely no way to call and validate that as of now. So that's 2 programs which have immediate impact. Yeah.
Thank you so much for adding it. And I'll have a follow-up question because it's about the education, right? It's very important that it's a harsh reality that the contents that we have in the current education system is somewhat not matching to the speed of the blockchain that we have. Would you like to add?
Absolutely. So by the time you come out of academia and you hit industry, there is a disconnect in terms of what is learned, what's digested, and then what happens in the realm. A lot of that goes down to data. right? Academia does not have access to data, real-time problems, and problems are analytically defined by data. And if it's banking and finance, if it's supply chain, if it's medical, there isn't easy access to data, or data hasn't been democratized. With the advent of blockchain, NFT, it essentially works as democratized data and an asset layer which links the data to the value of all the other systems. Obviously, the AI ML being the most talked about system today. And that's what's exciting in academia right now, where for once we do have access to real-time problems, real-time data, which can then on be used for up-to-date learning experiences. So that people, when they leave academia and enter the real world, they're absolutely in tune to handle what the problems hitting them on the faces.
Amazing. And rightly said. Mr. Chirag, I would like to add this question for you. So you've been to around a lot in the academia and the corporates, right? So where do you think there is a gap? And there is very important point that we're talking about the employment as well, right? So where do you see that how the ecosystem can be empowered so that we make sure that they are blockchain empowered, employment enabled ecosystem? What's your points on that?
Yes, you rightly said that. There is a huge potential in the academics, that how we can bridge the gap between industry and academics, right? The point is, like, see, I started this journey before 5 years or 6 years back. So we started together at that point of time, and we experienced that earlier people doesn't understand what is blockchain, and even the universities and colleges and all, they don't even take care that like why we have to even introduce to the students even 1 day workshop or 2 day workshop. Slowly what happened, they started taking importance of this particular technology. Then curriculum got this created. Then elective topics came, right? So slowly, since last 5 years, the journey of blockchain is evolving in this particular education domain, right? Now the point is like, what is the gap? The gap is like, there is a theory going on, the workshop going on, the events going on, and the 2, 3 day, 4 days workshops. But the real scenario is the center of excellence requirement is there. Right? Center of excellence requirement for every university, that's what we feel. Because that's where students can understand how to develop the product, how to design, and what exactly blockchain is all about. Because the theory says something, by the time you implement the theory, the technology that much dynamic that it gets changed, right? So we have to keep evolving this particular center of excellence kind of things. That is my observation. And also we have to have more companies and the training industries and all has to come to take this role. Second, I would say that like if you consider the 5 blocks in the blockchain ecosystem, the first block is in India specifically, right? The India is what? India is first block is innovation. The second is product. The third is service and support. Fourth is training and consulting, and fifth is R&D. Now we consider outside India, the entire thing is reverse. The R&D is the first block, training and consulting the second block. They're investing more in R&D, investing more in training and consultation, and then comes to products, innovation, and support services. So that's what the major gap. We have to bring that thing in academics. Because can add more in that.
Yeah, feel free to add. Like if you feel, and this is very important, like how we can become the bridge. We as an ecosystem, like Gujarat Summit is one of the bridge of solving that problem. So like, what do you think? How we can, as an ecosystem, become the bridge so that we can fasten this process, because the world is moving at internet speed right now.
I think the government of India is doing the most brilliant thing of organizing sandboxes. And you guys are organizing conferences in the right places, right? IITC and everyone over here. Again, the momentum should be on taking technology down to not only, the urban areas, but rural areas as well. Most of the blockchain work, if you look at consultancies, if you look at freelance, a lot of it will come eventually from India. And then taking that technology out to the rural areas is what, where the trick lies. How do you amortize the costs of getting technology out there, and then how do you monetize the work output from there? I think what we've done in terms of employment, that Raghu was talking about. You've gone away from the time-tested, the time-based payment modules. You come into a value-based payment schedules right now, right? Essentially, you kind of give them a task, have a smart contract evaluate, have validators concur on the outputs of the task assigned, and then monetize that particular value addition with some amount of either tokens or CBDCs or programmable CBDCs that we spoke about earlier. So I think that's going to be the game winner of taking technology out, monetizing it across rural India, where a dominant chunk of our people live.
Thank you so much. Yes, please.
Yes, just I would like to add something. So, as you mentioned,
Can we have a mic for it? Yes, sir.
yes, as you mentioned, this is a mind-blowing subject, and as you mentioned, that would be a gap between this education and blockchain industry. So, my friends and they have developed one network. Network called the Solar Network. It's from the Arizona. Basically, it's Hawaiian, and so they consider the blockchain along with the three linkages between HR consultancy and the employment, and one person the student. So it's completely open source network. So everybody can verify their document or credential verified with authenticity. Once it is verified, and then we will provide this cloud-based micro certificate program, professional training. So easily it can be close to this HR manager. So on the merit basis, they can be select the person. So recruitment can be easily done. So this is a fantastic way approach by him, and Arizona and New York University is already working for that. Probably that will be happening in our India.
Wonderful, wonderful. That's a really good point. Yes, sir. You want to add up? Can we have a mic?
Yeah, this is an amazing point of education in the rural villages. It's an amazing. I'm doing a pilot with one of the hospitals in US. In Metaverse, we are creating a education material tool for rural population for their heart health with American Heart Association 8 parameters. So we are putting that on Metaverse and putting that in my villages where patients are going to be treated or diagnosed early. So that this Metaverse solution will come. And with dedicated hospital templates which have been showing on heart health, how good is your heart, and educating the patients about the heart. So as some just mentioned, I mean rural education and then incentivizing it. So keep your heart healthy, and Metaverse is one of the engagement platforms which we can engage. So I'm going to do a pilot with that, getting the content ready. So this is going to be more of fun related education and a lovely take home message. And blockchain and Metaverse is solving this entire process.
Wonderful, wonderful, and thank you so much for adding, both of you. Really appreciate it. Before we wrap up, anything from your end, Velu, sir, Mr. Chirag, you want to wrap up?
So as you mentioned, there is an immense potential in the education industry where we can bring value from the blockchain. Smart contract is another piece where we can touch upon, because not only blockchain is a certificates or degree or credentials database storing system, but we have to do a lot of things from smart contracts by bringing entire process on smart contracts and make it automated to it. That's another piece which we can bring value in the education system. And as policymakers, educationists, the colleges, universities, as well as the industry, everyone has to work hands on hands, because that's a major challenge as of now. There is no sync, real sync between industry and academics except placement. Right? So the placement, campus placement is going on, but still in terms of the course, the materials, and how the training is happening in that is missing. So that's what we can bring it specifically in blockchain space.
Thank you so much. Mr. Yes.
So, it could be an oxymoron on what I'm saying, but essentially we've spoken about regulation and starting with the morning sessions, we've spoken about finance. and why not to say crypto, etc. Right? So my advice to a lot of these startups who've been talking to me again was leave the word blockchain out of it. Just refer to it as Web3. If you're looking at emerging technologies, it's a convergence essentially of blockchain, artificial intelligence, or AI, right? Artificial narrow intelligence, as well as a lot of deep learning. So if you leave blockchain out of it, things seem to scale very, very, very smoothly.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, and thanks for being a wonderful audience. Thank you so much for your time. Team, you want to take it over? And before we wrap it up, I'd just like to add, so to solve this problem, we have created certifications. We are a certification body. We are a New York-based certification body. We just got it started in India. We are AI and blockchain role-based certifications. So you are a doctor, we have a certification for you. What you need to learn for AI and blockchain. Let's say you are a lawyer, we have it for you. You are an educator, we have it for you. So we have around 60 plus certifications. You can reach out to us on aisearch.io. Thank you so much for your time, everyone. Thank you.
Well, last but not the least, that was one of the most engaging sessions, ladies and gentlemen. One more time. I think my voice is loud and clear. One more time, ladies and gentlemen, can you put your hands together as we felicitate our honorable dignitaries on stage. Thank you very much.